So the inevitable has finally happened. The Cleveland Browns, thanks to Andrew Berry and Paul DePodesta, have finally made a huge splash. I mean, I'm shaking. I can't believe it because if you've noticed, ever since the end of the season, once they cut Jarvis Landry and started letting other people go, you knew Hooper was going to be cut if he didn't take a pay cut, which of course obviously he didn't want to do. So he's going to be out of here June 1st. Uh, Unfortunately, they had to let Jarvis Landry to go, but he could probably come back if he takes a veteran minimum and actually wants to win a Super Bowl. Like it's not like he needs the money. He already has generational wealth. So that's something to consider on a 1 year deal, maybe with some incentives. Uh of course we have Amari Cooper, and if the rumors are true that he fades away and disappears in big games, that's fine. You have Deshaun Watson and a veteran number 2 wide receiver, I hope, whether it be Jarvis Landry or maybe it be Julio Jones or Will Fuller. We don't know. Maybe they'll draft a guy. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Donovan Peoples Jones. Who knows? At any rate, he can improvise, take off and run, or maybe throw it to Njoku, who we know has sprinter speed. Uh, or maybe Chubb or Hunt out of the backfield. It's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. The offense is going to be very interesting. But landing Deshaun Watson was probably the biggest splash of the NFL offseason this year. I mean, you thought Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry, you thought that the kid from Seattle, Russell Wilson, you thought that was a big trade. Like, no, like they almost wanted a king's ransom for Deshaun Watson. But luckily, we didn't have to give that up because Baker Mayfield is trade bait. So is Kareem Hunt. He's trade bait, which I'll talk about later concerning Hunt and the fans. Uh, I'm just, woo, I am head over heels. This is really, really, really big news because, in all honesty, quarterback was the missing piece. We all knew that. And we put all of our hopes and dreams and faith in Baker Mayfield. Even I did that. But one 11 game stretch last year means nothing to the entire body of work. And Deshaun Watson is miles and miles ahead of Baker Mayfield. Miles and miles ahead. First and foremost, he can constantly and consistently read a defense. I like that. I like that. He knows when to run. He doesn't just run for the sake of running. And he's very mobile and agile and in the pocket. And now that he doesn't have to worry about playing behind a line that's as porous as the Bengals, he'll actually have time to throw. He'll have time to make better decisions. He just has to get in the rhythm of being behind our offensive line where he's protected for at least 6 seconds instead of just being protected for 3. Um Now on to the allegations. You guys who are longtime Browns fans, you stood behind Josh Gordon. You admire Jim Brown. Okay. You even root for Kareem Hunt. You're glad he's on the team. So being upset, talking about Deshaun Watson's civil trial, you're wasting your time. Trying to act like you're all outraged. Well, 22 women can't be wrong. Let me explain something to you. For those of you who haven't been in the entertainment business where women are the commodity, i.e., models, because I was in that industry for 30 years. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of massage therapists who sit there in the makeup chair and talk about their sexual exploits or their side jobs. Now, a lot of these girls' side jobs, outside of trying to sell women's accessories such as purses and jewelry, and doing hair and nails, uh, and trying to sell clothing. A lot of these girls make their money in the sex industry, especially nurses. But a lot of them who say that they are massage therapists, in all honesty, they used to advertise on Backpage back when it was available. They would advertise on adult sites where men would find escorts, and they would license themselves out or advertise themselves out as massage therapists. And then that way the client would pay them extra once it was established that you weren't a cop. These women that Deshaun Watson got massages from, they are no different. This is why the Houston DA said there's not enough evidence to convict, which means that yes, some sexual activity did take place, but none of it was considered non-consensual. None of it was considered assault. Do you understand that? Some activity took place, but nothing that warranted any criminal activity. So these women who came forward shortly a month after Deshaun Watson decided or demanded to be traded and decided to sit out until then, all right, they were put up to this by somebody within the Texans organization. I mean, they almost tried to do the same thing to DeAndre Hopkins. They tried to besmirch his character on his way out the door. But he didn't say anything. He just went forth and played football, which I think Deshaun Watson will do once he comes to Cleveland. And he plays football well. Both of them do. At any rate, if you read the text messages, you will see that the girls were talking about Deshaun Watson. They already knew what he wanted and what his modus operandi was. And although they may say, no, I didn't do it in the text messages, let me explain something to you. Common sense dictates that if you know somebody is sexually aggressive while nude and you're touching their body, that's not a client that you take on. That's not a client you recommend to anybody else. You recommend against it. But instead, what you saw was the girls warning each other, not necessarily warning, but giving each other a heads up as to what type of client he is. Because do understand, there are very, 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 very few clients that they get that are under the age of 30. Deshaun Watson's 26, I believe. Very few clients that they get that are under the age of 30 unless they play some type of professional sport because their muscles take a beating. They need the massages. All right. A lot of these girls' clients are older men over the age of 45, who, in all honesty, just want the feel of a woman's touch. And they do the same thing. They reach out, they grab booties, they stroke legs, they make suggestive comments. And these women know that because they all talk to each other. But the reason why they keep going is because they want to get paid. If they blackballed every client that did that, they would be out of business. Flat out. They would be out of business. If they reported a client that did it for assault, they will be out of business. So they already know what's going to happen going in. It's just a matter of whether they wanted to or not. In Deshaun Watson's case, where you have the most damning text message, was the masseuse who took it upon herself to pleasure herself with him. She wrote him saying, "Oh, I apologize for what I did. It was very unprofessional of me. I didn't mean to do that," which means that she made the first move. And he said it was cool. And then she turned around later and tried to extort him for $30,000. Yeah, she's one of the 22. In all honesty, if I was Deshaun Watson and if I was those girls, I would go back and ask him, hey, look, how would have my lawyer talk to his lawyer and say, look, hey, look, this is going to be ugly for both of us. This is going to be ugly for both of us. Because do understand, I'm pretty sure Watson has the receipts. I'm pretty sure he has text messages. I'm pretty sure he has invoices and everything. Voicemails, everything. That's why him and his lawyer has no problem going forward with the civil suit. Because they can prove that everything these women are saying is a lie. You don't push forward on a civil suit as an entertainer, a big name celebrity or whatnot, because you don't have smoking guns. What you normally do is you just go ahead and pay them off because it'd be cheaper to pay them off, give them a little settlement than what they could win in court because you don't have the smoking gun. Not saying that you're guilty, just saying that what you're going up against is the different version of the facts without any evidence to back you up. That's what civil courts are for. Like, hey, he said this or he did that. I feel slighted. He owes me money. If he can prove that it wasn't a slight, that this was this person just taking things out of context, that they knew what was going on, then boom, you win your case. It's as simple as that. So, but if I was those girls, I would have the lawyers talk and be like, hey, look, this is going to be ugly for both of us. You know, just make us an offer. We'll take it and go away. And that way we can both put this behind us. Because let's be honest, even if you gave those girls $3 million each, I'm going to tell you within 3 years, they'll be broke. They'll be broke because they're not going to spend it wisely. Hell, athletes retire after having $100 million contracts, and within 3 to 5 years, they go broke. Let's not kid ourselves. So, for all of you talking about, oh, I'm not going to root for the Browns because they got Deshaun Watson, quit it. Quit it. Quit it. Because as soon as he takes the field and he throws a touchdown pass and starts winning games, you'll be running around here, jumping up and down on your couches, just like you did for forever since you became a Brown fan. All right. So I'm ecstatic. Thank God we finally got a real quarterback. We got a bona fide #1 wide receiver. We got a hell of a defense. The only thing we need now is 2 defensive tackles and a left end and a solid #2. And we're good to go. We're good to go. And those draft picks that the Texans got doesn't even matter because they'll be in the bottom 25 anyway. Those first round picks will be practically useless. Plus, we still have our seconds. If anything, we'll just be adding depth or maybe a starter here or there. And you still have free agency. And when those contracts fall off, you will have more money. So that way you can actually trade some of those veterans for draft capital and you can retool. I trust Andrew Berry. I trust Paul DePodesta. Andrew's a genius. I'm not worried about the Browns collapsing anytime soon. Let's go Browns. Let's go